Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Wright on Crime podcast. My name is Rachel Wright, and I'm here with Michelino Sunseri. So I'm super excited to chat with you today because we've been following your story at Wright on Crime, but I'd love to hear about what is your profession? Why did you get connected to us? But then also, how did you trying to succeed and excel in your job actually lead to a criminal conviction?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be here. Yeah, you guys have been extremely instrumental in helping us get the word out about how just absolutely insane this entire story has been from the start. So we appreciate your support.
Of course.
I am a professional trail runner, bartender and professional trail runner. And this all started, I had a goal around 2020 was the first time I went to the Tetons in Wyoming. And I was running a beautiful trail there, the Teton Crest Trail. And during that, was the first time I saw the Grand Teton, which is a mountain. It's 13,775 feet. It's one of the most picturesque, beautiful mountains probably in the entire United States. Yeah. And at that time, first time I saw it, and I decided that I really want to go run up that thing.
Yeah, not me, but good for you.
Yeah, and what I do, I like, I've had goals for myself in the past. I just see a mountain, and the first thing that comes to my head is, I want to run up that thing really fast. That's cool. So that's kind of what led to this entire.
So did you do well did you eventually get to run it, and did you do well, and what happened?
Yeah, so first time I went up it was a year or so later, and then flash forward a few more years of training, running up and down, getting the route dialed, and then in 2024, I did go for the FKT, which is fastest known time, to the summit and back down. And during that attempt, I decided to take a trail that has been used for, as far as we know, 80, 90 years. It's been around since, before our parents have been around. And I decided to take that trail on my descent. Reason being, not only is it faster, it is also the sensible route to take when you're going for a mountain FKT. It's also, in my opinion, the safer route. It's a busy mountain, it's a busy area, and trying to run fast past people is not always the best thing that people want to happen while they're enjoying trails. But taking that route, I could avoid less people. I could essentially run faster, and it's really just the common sense, sensible route to take.
Yeah. So was that a decision you were like, that worked out well, or what happened?
I think it worked out well.
Yeah, for your fast known time, yes. But as we're familiar with your story, that was, I don't want to overcharacterize it, but that was an illegal part of the trail that you should have been on.
Yep.
And that led to an indictment, a prosecution, and a conviction.
Yeah.
So what happened in this case? Whenever you guys got to
where
court?
To start?
Without going too granular, because obviously we could talk about it on an entirely separate podcast, but more of why in the world were you convicted for just walking on a part of a trail?
So because of my status as a professional athlete and because of my sponsorship with the North Face, I believe that the ticketing ranger, the law enforcement officer, as well as the prosecutor were using that as a reason to make an example out of me.
But you didn't know necessarily that this was a part of the trail that you were not supposed to be on.
Oh God, no. People use it all the time. People use it every day. Rangers use it. People have been using it for
you
a
have
very
a
long
criminal
time.
conviction for a federal crime, correct?
Correct.
For not doing something that is dangerous.
Right.
And that you didn't know was actually forbidden.
Correct.
Okay, so this is where we came in, because Wright on Crime, we look at a lot of different criminal justice policy solutions, but ultimately your case is very illustrative of what we consider to be overcriminalization. I'm sure you're familiar with this phrase now, but I'd love to hear from someone who's lived it. What is your perspective of what overcriminalization means?
No one's ever asked me that. Thank you. I guess my perspective at this point of what overcriminalization is taking an offense that is non-harmful, that doesn't cause any damage to, nature, property, individuals, and prosecuting it to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I'm a bartender. I don't, believe it or not, running doesn't make a lot of money. So I don't necessarily have the money to put together a full-fledged defensive when I'm being prosecuted by the federal government. So without people like, my good friend Alex Rienzi, Wright on Crime, Pacific Legal Foundation, I would be, a little screwed.
So this is something that could probably happen to anybody.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, maybe not professional. I'm not going to be running through Grand Teton anytime soon, but these kind of innocuous, non-public safety crimes, that can happen to anybody.
Oh, 100%. I've had numerous people reach out with their stories in the same exact, in that prosecutor's jurisdiction with very, very minor offenses. We had one person who had to leave a cooler behind because they had a bear breathing down their neck approaching them, and they had to run and get away from the bear, leave a cooler behind. They went and told the rangers that, and the ranger just ended up writing them a ticket for leaving food. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
While they're facing, a possible attack by a bear.
So this kind of leads me to one of the larger big pictures. So zooming out from your individual case, but that case also ties into this wonderfully.
Right.
If you could talk directly to lawmakers, particularly our federal lawmakers, because this was a federal misdemeanor, what policy change are you going to urge them to make?
Policy change. So right now, I think the most sensible one would be mens rea act, count the crimes, mens rea. The knowledge that what you're doing is unlawful and criminal, count the crimes, count how many crimes are written and that people have to abide by, that they can get some type of federal misdemeanor, some type of punishment for that. We don't even know what they are. People don't even know what these things, what they are. Nobody knows the number. I think sensible steps like that are probably the first two steps that we could take. But I think there's quite a few different things that could happen. Do you think
one or either or both of those would have prevented or mitigated your circumstances?
Oh, mens rea, 100%. I didn't know it was illegal. The prosecution's first witness that they called to the stand, their star witness, she didn't know it was illegal.
Really?
Nobody knew that taking this was actually illegal and that could lead to a federal prosecution.
But it's led to you having now a criminal record.
Correct.
So does that feel, I mean, in your perspective, obviously that doesn't feel fair, but does it feel like, is this going to impact you long term?
I think the criminal record does definitely have a chance at impacting me long term. Things like applying for, somewhere to live. If I get a background check because I want to rent an apartment in Salt Lake City, it's possible that this could come up. And then I have to explain like, I quote unquote cut a trail in Grand Teton National Park. I did compete for Team USA this past year in the World Mountain Running Championships. And part of that process with USATF is getting a background screening. And I was terrified the entire time. I was sitting there every day waiting to see if I would, pass or not pass. And for something like, trail running.
It's such a scarlet letter.
Yeah.
And for something that had no impact on like public safety, that feels like the really big disconnect for me. So there's something really unique to the federal system in a bad way, where there is no clear, consistent way for record sealing or expungement.
Right.
And that means hiding the record or getting rid of it. Would that be something that'd be beneficial for you moving forward, or does that feel like, it doesn't really matter to me?
Oh, it's definitely beneficial.
Oh, good.
Just having this on my record and having this, like you said, a scarlet letter.
Yeah. And this is
right now
not having. You received a pardon.
I did receive a pardon.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And I actually was never even properly sentenced. We never made it to sentencing. So there's a gray area there between the trial and sentencing. I was pardoned, and that's a gray area where I can't get any type of expungement.
Yeah, so even with a presidential pardon,
correct,
you cannot have your record expunged.
I cannot.
This makes no sense.
Yeah.
For a non-public safety crime where you did not know what you were doing.
Well, and at the end of the day, I do believe that even having it lead this far was, I think it was a mistake on the Rangers' part.
Yeah.
And that's a mistake that just one person made who is untrained and possibly unqualified for doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That mistake has led to now ramifications down the road for my entire life.
So that's a great segue into kind of probably my last question, which is, how do you hope that this case and your circumstances kind of helps motivate others to want to reform and avoid future instances of overcriminalization in any kind of work or just passion project or just living our lives?
So right now, what we are trying to do is, because I am, I'm lucky enough that I have good friends. I have a lot of backing. I have a community behind me that's helping me through this. Not everybody has that.
Sure.
So right now, what we're trying to do is help with any type of legislation that we can pass to not only help with, like I said, mens rea, count the crimes, and some pathway to expungement. Anything I can do to share my story and share the facts leading up to this is essentially what we're going to try to do to help get this out there to hopefully prevent this from happening to other citizens down the road.
Oh, we wish it never would have happened to you, but I'm really glad that you're able to use your story and have those connections and friends to kind of elevate it, and hopefully we can make a positive change. So where can people keep up with your story and as it progresses down the road?
Sure. So you can follow me on Instagram, Michelino Sunseri. And then also we are putting together a documentary about this from start to finish, the political ramifications, whether it is political, isn't political, the record itself, all of that. And that'll be at racinggrandteton.com.
Great.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Wright on Crime podcast. And to reach out to our team and learn more about these issues, please visit us on our website, wrightoncrime.com.